Dennis, and you're watching Spotlight Georgetown. You can find us Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on your local cable station. This is your cable TV program. It's your cable TV station. So if you'd like to be part of it, let me know. They'll give you my email, let the station know, and we'll teach you how to use the cameras and some of the other equipment. If you'd like to be on the show, please let me know. If you would like to volunteer a friend to be on the show, please let me know. Sometimes that's just as much fun. Now today we're going to be talking about TOPS. TOPS is Take Off Pounds Sensibly. And we're going to do a little intro before we have the ladies that are here with me. So the website reads, Real People, Real Weight Loss. And TOPS is an international nonprofit organization started in 1948 by a woman named Mrs. Manns, Mrs. Esther S. Manns. And she had some friends, young ladies at the time, and they were having trouble losing weight post, during, and post-pregnancy. And they were meeting at the kitchen table, of course, the kitchen table. So they decided that if this group support would work for people during medical issues or other types of addictions, why wouldn't it work for people that were trying to lose weight? So she checked with the doctor, and the doctor said, what a great idea, and she was off and running. And TOPS is still nonprofit. It is $32 a year, which is probably one of the biggest differences between other weight loss organizations. And we have 25,000 members in the United States and Canada at this time. In fact, we just hit 25,000 this year again. Now, I've been a member since 1971, which was a long time ago. I joined in Japan. There were chapters at that time in foreign countries. Right now, there are chapters all over the United States and Canada. But I joined in Japan and reached my goal weight that is set by the physician and maintained that weight for 37 years. And then I had a medical blip, and for the last few years I've had, sometimes life gets in the way. So life got in the way, and I gained quite a bit of my weight back. And thanks to the EMTs in Georgetown, the wonders of modern medicine and everything else, I'm on my way back down. I've now lost 70 pounds, quite a few different clothing sizes, and I'm feeling terrific again. So for those of you that have been watching me or town meetings or things like that, I've been state coordinator, area captain, national spokesperson. There's all kinds of things that you can do, but it is a nonprofit organization. We have 2 chapters in Georgetown. We have one that meets Thursday evening. They weigh in about 6:30, I believe. And we have one that meets on Friday morning. And we start our weigh-ins from 8:30 to 9:30, and the meeting goes from 9:30 to 10:30. Both are at the Knights of Columbus on East Main Street, and you can just come in. So the easiest way to decide if it's going to work for you is just join us, email me, or you can go on tops.org, tops.org. Now, we have some ladies with us today, and some have been on the show before, and so Kathy Huppy.
Hello.
Kathy Huppy's been here before, and Liz Shepard.
Hi.
Liz is one of our newest TOPS members, and she agreed to do this. I don't think she knew what she was getting into, but she does now. So for each of you, whichever one wants to jump in first, why did you join TOPS?
Well, I joined because I was tired of being fat. I had had 5 children, gained with every child, and after my 5th child was a year old, I was about 50 pounds overweight, and I said, it's time. I had tried other programs. I had tried just having an accountable friend and weighing in at church each week. I had tried a lot of different things, and nothing had worked. And TOPS was different and worked for me, and that's why I joined.
We used to be at the Congregational Church. So for those that are watching, if you thought the Congregational Church was the meeting, it was. But now we have moved to the Knights of Columbus, and it's a little cozier, which is kind of nice. Liz, why did you join?
Well, about 11 years ago I retired from teaching, and since then I've been sitting home a lot, eating, going out with friends to restaurants and whatever, and I did put on a lot of weight. A few years ago I lost some weight for my son's wedding, but it gradually came back, so I decided I've got to do something. And my sister, who just moved here back to this area from the Midwest, heard some women talking about tops in her apartment building, so she decided, this was in April actually, to give it a try. She went, loved it, has lost over 50 pounds, is now the secretary for her group, and I decided that, you know, if it works for her, maybe it will work for me too. So I've been going only 2 months now. I've lost about 15 pounds, and I'm absolutely thrilled with the people there. They're so encouraging. It's just a wonderful organization, and I can't be happier than it.
TOPS is kind of a warm fuzzy type of, especially our chapter. It is definitely the group support. Now, Kathy, how many children do you have?
5.
And you've lived in town for how long?
20 years.
20 years. So you have 5 children, and you have some extra people living with you.
We do. There are 13 in the house. You don't want to hear about everybody.
So when you do your cooking and your meal planning, you're planning for a lot of people
It's kind of like being a camp.
that have a lot of different dietary
Yes.
choices, needs, and what they like and don't like.
Mhm.
So that must be even more interesting, trying to, and actually we're going to put it in right now. You just recently reached your goal again.
I did. I had reached my goal, maintained it for 3 years, lost my status, went 10 years, and I've just regained it. So I'm very excited.
And
But yes, there's a lot of food in the house that I don't want to eat because there are people of all ages, 8 months to 91 years old, and they have all different dietary needs. So there's a lot of food in the house that I have to avoid.
and you're very much into more of a natural food type kitchen,
Yes.
put it that way, as opposed to a lot of the things that come from every grocery store in the area. So
Yes.
that makes it even more interesting. So you have to do a lot more planning.
We do. And I have help.
You have help.
I have help in the kitchen.
You've got, well, that's why you have kids. Isn't that why people have kids?
That's right.
Kids and spouses, that helps. Now, Liz, I think your secret is out. Because if your sister ever watches the YouTube or sees the show, she'll know. You
Exactly,
haven't
yeah.
told her yet.
No, I haven't told her that I've been here. In fact, she was here this weekend, has not noticed the fact that I've lost weight, but I have a tendency to wear baggy clothes all the time. And that's one thing that I learned just being in TOPS, that it's okay not to wear baggy clothes, to hide everything once you start losing this weight. So I think maybe I'll actually tell her at the beginning of the new year.
We had, when I do the show, I never mention names of people that do things, but quite often there are stories. We had a lady that came in a little while ago, and she had just bought her first pair of skinny jeans. And it was like, ah! So that's always
That's
a
what I
fun
want
thing.
to do.
That's one of your goals, is to buy
That's
skinny
right.
jeans. Okay, now, you said you were a teacher. What kind of a teacher?
I was a music teacher.
Local?
I was in Boxford for the last 18 years that I taught. I did instrumental music there,
Oh,
grades
nice.
4, 5, and 6.
Oh, you're in trouble now. We didn't know we had a musician in the group, in the chapter.
Paul plays accordion.
Yes.
Oh, is that right?
So you may get volunteered for some other things. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about what makes TOPS different. Now, part of it I talked about already. It's $32 a year. We have an optional $1 a week dues, and that covers things like we help the Knights of Columbus with certain things, certain supplies and things like that, and coffee, and we buy some awards for people and contests and things like that. But what makes it different for you first, Kathy, because you've already said you were in other groups.
Right. So one of the biggest differences is you and your doctor agree what weight you should be at. It's not the organization that says this is what a healthy weight is. And a huge difference is that it's a support group. It's not a group where they say this is what you have to eat and you need to buy our prepared food and you should get our frozen desserts in the grocery store. It's you get to choose what eating plan you're going to follow, and you get to work it out.
And one of the benefits is, for a lot of people, when they join a group or they go on to some sort of a supplemental option, that ends. And when that ends, you're right back where you started from. And we're going to talk about that again in a minute. What makes it different for you, Liz?
Well, I love the camaraderie of the group, and I feel like I'm very supported there. The first time I walked in, everyone welcomed me there, introduced themselves, and just made me feel at home and very comfortable. And the fact that when I go to the meetings, I don't feel I'm being lectured at. I feel like I'm being involved in all the discussions that they have and whatever.
Yeah, which makes a difference.
Absolutely
Because
makes a
it's the
difference.
members that run the meetings. We don't have somebody that comes in and does a lecture or does a program. The programs are actually, the optional programs are sent out by TOPS headquarters, and they use professional nutritionalists and speakers and things like that to send programs that we can use if we want to, but our chapter does other things. Who wants to jump in first?
Well, I know, sometimes I will, I've asked Kathy and whatever, you know, like I've been eating this particular cereal and very proud of myself for having done that because I figure it's a protein cereal. Then the information comes back to me that maybe that's not the best idea. Why don't you try this? And I'll tell you, things like that work. Things that I thought I was doing right, I'm not necessarily doing right, but that's what they help with.
And the other point is right for you,
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
everybody's different. Some
Exactly.
people
Exactly.
eating that cereal would be great for them,
Right.
That's exactly
but
right.
not for you. So we get to decide what's right for us by trial and error or suggestions from within the group.
Right. I had a thought in my head and then it escaped me, but as you were talking about the food, it made me think there's so many choices out there. And one thing might work for a time, and as your body adjusts, then, and as you learn, you know, science-wise what's going on, then you start to tweak things a little bit. Okay, so this cereal was a good place to start. Now, let's add some fiber in. Now, let's add, you know, less processing. And what are the different pieces to breakfast? And what are the different ways I can do breakfast? And yeah, it's a discussion.
Breakfast is quite often the most difficult for a lot of people. And in our particular chapter, we talk a lot about additives, processed foods, things like that, because
Exactly.
anything that you put into your, you know, it's one of those, if anything that you eat is going to decide how your body is going to work and how your body is going to burn its calories. And that does make a difference. Some of the foundations of TOPS are medical orientation, which you talked about. A goal slip does have to be received from a doctor or the nurse practitioner, depending on what medical options people take. Sometimes it's something different, a chiropractor, things like that. And group support, which is the biggest part, and recognition. So what is an actual meeting like? What happens at a meeting? When somebody walks in the door, what happens? Liz, you're the newest.
Well, first of all, you're welcome to come to the meeting in the first place. And also, I just lost my, thank God for editing.
That's okay. So we have a weigh-in.
That's right, we have weighing, while the officers are working, weighing everyone in. The rest of us get to socialize and to talk and chit-chat and whatever, and what's happened during
Have coffee.
That's right,
Coffee.
what's happened during the week, and it's a very nice time. And then we get down to a meeting where stuff is suggested and you know, ideas are presented. Then we do have contests, which was wonderful.
Contests
Fun.
can sometimes be fun.
They're fun.
So when someone comes in, we do a weigh-in, and that's a
Yes.
private weigh-in. We have an electronic scale, which a lot of chapters have. So you get to weigh in, but only the weight recorder and you know how much you weigh. Nobody else knows what you actually weigh.
Correct.
It's nobody's business what you actually weigh.
And yet,
Yours and your physician.
and yet we're able to have this accountability thing going on because as we take attendance, each person says how they did, you know, oh, I gained this much, or I lost this much, or I turtled, which means I stayed the same. And we cheer each other on and we encourage each other. But you're announcing to people, you know, oh, I had a rough week. And so you get that support and encouragement to persevere, to carry on. Or if you lost weight, they're cheering for you.
Oh yeah.
And so it's a lot of fun.
Lots of noise.
So we kind of have this like business part of our meeting, and we talk about, you know, if there's things coming up and what was the last thing discussed. But then we have the informational part of our meeting that could be a game, or it could be a talk about food, or it could be an exercise program, it could be all kinds of things.
1 month it might be on a certain type of vitamin. 1 month it might, 1 week it might be on certain types of exercises, or what your muscles do, or what salt does, or so every week it's something different. And we do play games. We have some fun games. Sometimes we combine the two, a little bit of both. Now, one of the things that we haven't touched yet, and we're going to talk about COPS in a minute, but TOPS Club Incorporated in 1966, we started a metabolic research program at the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee, and we have donated from a nonprofit organization $8.5 million. And 5 or 6 years ago, they actually, it's a research program, and it's been going on for quite a while, they actually discovered 2 genes that are genetically connected to obesity. So it's the beginning. It's not a magic bullet, but it's the beginning of understanding why some people gain weight and some people don't. So some of it's genetics, some of it is lifestyle, and some of it is just celebratory. Who wants to cover that one? I'll cover it. Okay. People have a tendency to, it's my birthday. And we'll have people come into the meetings, and it's funny, everyone, no matter what they do that day, I gained a half a pound, I lost a half a pound. It was my birthday, and I had 2 birthday parties, and we went out to eat. And that's part of life. So some people celebrate with food. Some people, when they're down in the dumps and things are really going against their comfort level and they're really upset and sad, they eat. And some people, in joyful ways, eat. So it changes for everybody, and we talk about that.
Yes, and that's another kind of topic. We can talk about food, we can talk about exercise, but we often talk about personally what's going on in our emotions and how does it feed into what we're doing and how effective it is.
We do have a pledge that is optional at the beginning, and part of it says, I will not let my emotions control me. Because sometimes we eat emotionally. I'm a bored eater. When I'm bored, I eat. I don't eat so much when I'm really busy or when I'm really sad, but when there's nothing else to do, I'm looking in that kitchen and opening a cabinet. Oh, nothing in there. Refrigerator. Oh, nothing in there.
I'm a kitchen eater.
You're a kitchen eater.
And I'm in the kitchen a lot, so that's a problem. If I'm in the kitchen, I'm likely to be grabbing something, so I need to try and stay out of the kitchen.
Stay out of the kitchen. One of the other things we talk about is any of the good stuff that you can just grab anytime you want, put it on the shelf, right on the top, so that if you want to grab something, it's right there for you. So, now, we talked about the cost, we talked about that. The diet plan. What is the diet plan of TOPS?
So TOPS doesn't tell you what to eat. TOPS offers a program that you can follow if you like, or you can follow really any program. You can coordinate one with your doctor, or you can choose one of the options out there. It's really very individualized. It's not like they are mandating you eat a certain way.
You don't have to eat
count
turkey on
points
Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's different for everybody, yeah.
But we do learn about portion size. For example, you can choose what you're going to eat, but what's a serving? That's one of our topics.
Because a serving is not pile it on your plate until there's no more space.
Unless it's salad.
Unless it's salad.
Right.
Well, a lot of people, I just recently in the last few months, couple of months, I've just gone off yogurt. I don't want to think about eating yogurt for some reason. So people change. It's like your cereal.
Right. Now,
And-
I'm eating more salad now
Yeah.
than I ever did before. I'm eating more chicken soup. My husband's very supportive. He's making all this chicken soup, make sure I have some available. I mean, it's just a nice program that way, you know, where you can decide what you want to eat and just be careful with the portions.
We have a lot of families that become involved with this. Now, is TOPS only for women?
No.
Obviously.
Women, men, women, children, teens. It goes all the way down to 7 years old. There's no limit on age.
Yep. So that, in fact, in our day chapter, we have 2 men right now. So, and we've had teens. So it's something that's open to anyone that wishes to join. Quite often, people think that, weight loss groups are for women only, but it's not. Now, we elect our officers from within. So the officers, the leader, co-leader, secretary, treasurer. I've been all of the offices except treasurer. And I think that says something. They won't let me take care of the money. They won't let me anywhere near the money.
But because we're nonprofit, there are no paid positions. It's
Oh,
all volunteer.
Right. Right, there is nothing, nobody gets paid for anything. And what's the best part?
Oh, the best part is definitely the support. I mean, like I said, I've tried all these different programs, but this is why I keep coming back. I feel like this is my family, they're my friends, I look forward to that time for a lot of reasons, not just weighing in and kind of, that's the tense moment, right? What's that scale gonna say I've done? Never mind what my scale says, what does this one say? And you have to, say that in front of people, well, I gained a pound this week, or I gained 3 pounds this week, or what was it? So I think that's all the difference is the support.
And a lot of times when, let's say someone has a gain, one of the questions is, do you know why? And quite often the answer is, they changed my medication. So we talk about that too.
Right.
And we open the door for them to talk to their physicians about what medications are going to do so that the expectations are different. When we have roll call, we have what else is different about TOPS is we have something, it's an internal organization called COPS, Keep Off Pounds Sensibly. And that's for the members that have reached their goal. They still weigh in every week, they still participate in the contest, they still participate in the meetings. But because we offer this, the members, the people stay once they've reached their goal. It's not something that you reach your goal and you walk away. You reach your goal and you have the option of staying and continuing with that support. And that's why for 37 years, and when I started with some of the illness things and some of the medications and all the rest of what life goes on, I still weighed in every week. And again, these are my friends, these are my family. These are the people that are going to support me and understand.
And so many people, when they reach their goal, they stop. If they go to an organization where it costs them $15 a week to go, they stop going to save the money, but then they gain the weight back. And because in our chapter it's only $1 a week, I can afford to keep coming and keep having that support and that accountability to keep the weight off. So that was huge. Even though I lost my status, I only gained 10 pounds. It was just enough to keep me out of my cop status, but it was also low enough to keep me motivated to say, I can get it back, I can get it back.
So,
But I had to keep coming, otherwise it would have gotten out of control.
and that's what quite often happens.
Most times that I've joined organizations like this, weight watching groups or whatever, I've lasted maybe 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. I'm still here after 2.5 months, which I can't believe that's a record for me to be in the same group. But it's because of the support and how the people treat you there. Just wonderful.
When I was in the hospital, the most visitors I had in the hospital over this last year, that I was in so many times, were my TOPS members. They're the ones that showed up. Almost every time I was in, TOPS members showed up. And it's a family.
It is. When you see the same people week to week, you develop a level of intimacy. And it's a friendship that's real. It's not just superficial.
And we also, when the meetings start, as people are coming in, it's, how's your husband this week? How are your kids? What college do they get accepted to? And we know what's going on, a lot of the surface things, the just general things of discussion. And people care about how your husband's doing, or what college your kids went to, or how old are your kids now. And I've known your kids since you were pregnant with them. So, and then I've watched them grow up, so that's another bonus. Up and up and up and up. And what's the bonus for you?
What's a bonus for
Yeah.
me? I think it's just the people there. The fact that I've finally lost weight and I feel like I'm looking better. I just can't get over the fact that the organization is so close. It's just probably a mile from my house, and the support is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm very comfortable at TOPS meetings, but I'm not comfortable at some of the other meetings I've been to.
And that's another one of the things that makes a difference.
Right. When I went to Weight Watchers, I would sit by myself or I would sit with the person I came with, but you didn't talk among the seats with all the other people there. It's almost like being in church.
And now, once people weigh in, they mill around, and sometimes it's tough to get people into their seats to get started because everybody's chatting and saying hello and checking on which book they read or whatever is going on in their lives. So again, it's East Main Street, it's at the Knights of Columbus, and people can join by either showing up. See, every meeting is different. Your first meeting is free, so if anybody wants to join, the first meeting is free. Just come on in, see what you think. If you'd like to join, you can join after the meeting. You can join before and just say, that's it, we're gonna go, which is what you did. We're gonna go for this, and you're in.
Right, there's a Thursday night chapter and a Friday morning chapter in town, so there's something for everybody.
And the morning chapter, surprisingly, we have people from all kinds of cities in New Hampshire.
Amazing, yes.
Yeah, we have from Ipswich and Hamilton and Groveland and Georgetown and
Haverhill.
Haverhill, quite a few.
I think Seabrook,
Yep.
Salisbury.
Seabrook,
Atkinson.
Salisbury, Atkinson. So we have a lot of, you don't have to live in Georgetown to come to the Georgetown chapter. So each chapter is a little bit different. And one of the other things that we offer that we don't talk about very often, because we have a chapter, is for those that don't have a chapter close by, they can join online. There is an online membership at tops.org, and it's a regular membership. They can do all the same things. It's just more individual for people that either choose to not go to meetings or don't have the availability of a meeting that's close to them. And they can still go through everything. The website also has great ideas and stories and all of those types of things. So, anything else for either one of you to add?
No, we
No,
have the best
other-
chapter, so.
We have the best one in the country, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be. It is. It's a very helpful organization.
It is, and it's, the weight loss is what we're there for, the health is what we're there for,
Exactly.
but the friendship is what happens.
Right.
So, thanks.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Beth.
joining us. Thank you, Kathy. We're talking about tops. Take off pounds sensibly. We meet Friday, there's a meeting Thursday evening, and there's a meeting Friday morning at the Knights of Columbus here in Georgetown. So check us out. I'm Beverly Enos. Thank you for joining us today. Bye for now.